Coming up on the April 11th edition of Carolina Week,
from the House to the Senate, the push for North Carolina's first state lottery just took a big step forward.
And putting their best foot forward, many Tar Heels took to the track this weekend to raise money for the fight against cancer. Coming up in Carolina Week sports, the 14th ranked women's tennis team entered the weekend undefeated at home, but would it stay that way?
Plus, a look at your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
These stories and more.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Courtney Robinson.
And I'm Nora Warren. Thanks for joining us. The North Carolina Senate is the next step for a state lottery bill. It's estimated a lottery could add as much as $450 million to the state education budget. But as reporter Lindsay Ellerson tells us, others think a lottery is the wrong way to go.
3/4 of the lottery proceeds would fund education needs, school construction, and scholarships. The rest would fund special state initiatives. Even though the Chapel Hill Carrboro School Board acknowledged the budget is in trouble, one board member says a lottery is the wrong answer.
Individuals lose money, and the state ends up spending money on administering a lottery that doesn't, in my opinion, produce a useful service.
Other opponents believe new education dollars would end up being offset by cuts in the regular education budget, resulting in no real gain. Since 1834, lotteries were banned in North Carolina, but in the early 1800s, South Building was built using the funds from an education lottery. Supporters say a lottery would benefit UNC students in many ways. They claim lottery proceeds would help pay tuition for 48,000 North Carolina undergrads who come from lower income families.
Basically, they have to meet all the normal requirements for a Pell Grant that the federal government sets out, as well as being North Carolina residents at an eligible institution.
It sends a message on the one hand that we value education, and yet the result of good education would be not to do this.
I think that sets North Carolina apart from a number of other states that have used the money for merit-based aid instead of taking care of students who can't afford to pay.
For a state lottery to become a reality in North Carolina, the next step would be for the Senate to pass the bill. In Chapel Hill, I'm Lindsay Ellerson, Carolina Week.
While the Senate has approved lottery bills in the past, the most recent one was 12 years ago. Governor Easley supports the lottery to help fund education.
In another effort to spotlight North Carolina children, the governor declared the month of April the month of the young child, with several events scheduled throughout the state. One of them was the Smart Start Family Fest at Chapel Hills Community Center Saturday afternoon. Local children got to test out their musical abilities, hang loose on the playground, and try their hand at horseshoes. Coordinators said the fest was successful in educating families about child care opportunities here.
The main message was that there are resources available to parents with children ages 0 to 5, and that there are people here in the county who can, help with getting the kids into high-quality child care.
The event was also a chance for children and their parents to get out and enjoy the beautiful spring weather.
The UNC system's governing body will begin the process of replacing UNC President Molly Broad in the coming weeks. Broad announced her plan to retire at the end of the 2005-2006 academic year last Wednesday. Several Republican senators have endorsed prominent Democratic politician Erskine Bowles as a candidate for the presidency.
As one candidate search continues, another has come to an end. The Daily Tar Heels' new editor for 2005-2006 has been chosen. Current City Desk editor Ryan Tuck will take the publication's reins this fall. He will be the paper's 139th editor.
North Carolinians might think twice before hopping in their cars. Even $2 won't get you far anymore, literally. Reporter Lily West tells us why.
Gas prices in North Carolina have been on the rise for more than a year. Here in Chapel Hill, it's common to see prices at the pump top $2.25. But gas station employee Latoya Curry says the increased prices haven't decreased business.
This store has a lot of regular customers, and Also, new people, of course, just stopping by or getting off the highway. But usually, regulars, they come, get the same amount of gas about every day.
Over the past 3 months, the average price of a gallon of gasoline in North Carolina has increased nearly 50 cents. Traveler Phil Coit drove from Indiana to Chapel Hill for the weekend and says he wants to know why prices are so high.
It seems that the change over the past few years has been more dramatic than I can account for by what I hear on the TV and the news and the radio and through the media. So I'm wondering if there's information out there that we're not getting.
Driver James Hayes says he thinks people are looking for different ways to conserve gas.
My last car was definitely not a fuel efficient car, and my next car, which is this one actually, is a lot better fuel efficiency. So I've cut down on my activities. I try to walk as much as I can, ride my bike.
According to NorthCarolinaGasPrices.com, the Go Gas in Jacksonville has the lowest prices at $2.09. In Chapel Hill, I'm Lily West, Carolina Week.
According to AAA, the average price of 1 gallon of regular gas in North Carolina is $2.23. That's a bit lower than the national average of $2.26.
Well, forget cars. Some UNC students use their feet in the battle against cancer. Teams of students and community members stayed up for 24 hours Friday and Saturday, walking, playing games, and just relaxing to raise money for Relay for Life. All of the money raised from this event goes to help cancer research that can save the lives of cancer patients such as this little boy. Entertainment helped keep the relayers going, but event chair Amber Alford says the real drive for the teams comes from knowing they're making a difference in someone's life.
It makes me feel like my job means a lot to a lot of those cancer survivors and cancer patients. And I heard them. They told us that, they told me that the hard work we put into the event was great, and that they were very honored.
The Relay for Life teams raised more than $118,000 this year.
Another group on campus let its message be heard through silence. Last week, we told you about the controversial exhibit comparing abortion to genocide. Unlike most protests on campus, you could hear only the sound of footsteps as students and community members gathered last week silently protesting against the Center for Bioethical Reform's abortion display. Protesters surrounded the exhibit in the quad 2 and 3 people deep in silence until the protests end. Members of the group say Pro-Choice UNC say it was important to counteract CBR's graphic images.
And so we take an approach that we don't demonize people for their decisions. And this is very inflammatory, it's sensationalistic, and we're trying to be practical. And so our protest is practical.
The exhibit has moved on to the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, where CBR has its Southeastern Region headquarters.
The outrage isn't dying down even weeks after university police arrested Carolina dining employee and student favorite Vel Dowdy. Despite the felony embezzlement of food charges Dowdy is facing, students continue to rally around the familiar face of Lenore. Groups on the popular website, thefacebook.com, are popping up asking to set Vel free. Many students say they won't back down.
There's a lot of stuff going on. People have printed up T-shirts and everything for Vel, so I think the students are really serious about it.
Dowdy is due back in court on April 22nd. She previously told Carolina Week she is unable to comment until all legal disputes are resolved. Well, National Championship Mania is still rippling through the campus.
Find out what the mass celebration is costing Chapel Hill.
Are your kids getting enough art? Whether through poetry, dance, music, or drama, the arts open the doors to creativity. As a mother and teacher, I know that arts education can help our children develop confidence and a better understanding of the world around them. Even if you have just 30 minutes a week, get your kids more involved in the arts and think about the kind of world we can leave behind for our children and our children's children.
Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
Okay, guys, time for takeoff. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Wow!
Moorhead Planetarium, where dreams become reality.
The downtown celebrations after both Final Four victories carried a price tag for the taxpayers of Chapel Hill. Firefighters put out 32 bonfires and police officers made 15 arrests. As reporter Elizabeth Storch reminds us, municipal employees don't work for free.
This Chapel Hill police officer doesn't do what he does for fun. It's his job, and Saturday night meant overtime. For the tens of thousands of basketball fans who converged on Franklin Street after both Final Four wins, it was a big party. But the 550 city employees who had to be called to supervise the celebrations were on the clock. Showing up isn't an option.
We always prepare for these events, and we'll have a contingent of officers come in that are off duty.
The town of Chapel Hill is no stranger to large crowds. This past Halloween, for example, some 60,000 people partied on Franklin Street.
Law enforcement costs will be comparable to Halloween. Halloween usually costs between $150,000 and $200,000.
Town employees went to great lengths to make sure the celebrations were safe for fans and businesses. For example, they greased telephone poles like this one with cooking spray to keep people from climbing them and possibly getting hurt. All cars were removed from the street just before tip-off, and in a futile attempt to prevent bonfires, the fire department hosed down the street. But all that preparation comes with a cost.
The instructions that we get from the town manager are whatever it takes to make this work and for people to be safe and property to be protected, to go ahead and spend it.
Cleanup crews moved in after 2 a.m. when the crowds died down. It is estimated that the crowds generated 20,000 pounds of garbage on Franklin Street. Information on the final cost of the celebration will be available later this week after town agencies have tallied their expenses. In Chapel Hill, I'm Elizabeth Storch, Carolina Week.
The Chapel Hill celebrations were pretty safe by most standards. Courtney, things weren't so calm in East Lansing, Michigan, where police arrested about 60 people and needed tear gas to control the rowdy crowds.
Yes, it was rowdy out there, and just think if there had been no commercial garbage pickup to deal with the 20,000 pounds of garbage from the celebrations. Town council members are considering eliminating commercial garbage collection to save up to $600,000, which would reduce what could be a 20% property tax increase. Breadman's restaurant owner Bill Piscatello says eliminating the service is just another thing the town will be taking away from local businesses.
Whenever they need to save money, the first people they look at is the businessman, and then the next breath they talk about doing something to enhance downtown, but they're taking stuff away from the businessmen that are there already.
Final recommendations will be presented Monday night. The elimination of commercial trash collection would affect businesses, churches, and apartment buildings.
It's been a week, but Chapel Hill is still in the grips of championship fever. Shoppers have descended on UNC trying to get their hands on 2005 championship gear. T-shirts have been the hottest items, but you can pick up anything from license plates to flags and even coffee mugs. UNC Student Stores has been the epicenter of this frenzy since the Tar Heels victory last week. Associate Director Greg Morton says it's been a struggle to keep the shelves stocked.
And we originally brought in on the first day approximately about 18,000 tees, and ever since have been going back for the last couple of days after that, replenishing stock, particularly, on our better sellers.
Morton, who has been at UNC to see the Heels' previous 2 titles, said that Student Stores has sold more than 28,000 T-shirts since Tuesday morning.
Well, the seniors this year got its national championship, and even though it won't be as exciting, there's still graduation to look forward to. The commencement ceremony will be on Sunday, May 15th at 9:30 a.m. in Keenan Football Stadium. For more information, visit our website at www.carolinaweek.org. Well, Erin Moore joins us now to talk about weather. The weather out there is amazing, Erin.
It's so bright. We had to go out a few minutes ago and just enjoy a little bit of it before the show.
It is really gorgeous. Spring just makes me want to lounge in the sun, but you want to soak up the rays while you can because we're in for a big weather change this week.
Throughout my career as a coach, I've lived by the simple axiom that
behind every individual success story is a team. The success of Durham Public Schools does not depend on one of us, but all of us.
through community involvement and support, we can take a giant step in helping our children achieve their hopes and dreams.
you're going to walk with me, and I'm going to help you to be that great soccer player.
Get a job.
Look, it's a giraffe.
I don't see it.
The less art kids get, the more it shows. Are yours getting enough? Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
Hello and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weathercaster Erin Moore here with a check of your weather headlines. I hope you were able to get out on Monday and enjoy the sun, because we are saying goodbye to the sun for the better part of the work week. With the clouds rolling in, we're going to see a drastic drop in temperatures as well as some very rainy days ahead. So if we look at the satellite map, right now we can see this beautiful clear skies that we had on Monday in the triangle. And back here we've got all of this moisture that's going to be heading into our area. You should notice some clouds working into the area Monday afternoon and Monday evening, but it's mostly going to be a weather maker Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can see the cyclonic motion of this. It's going to wrap around and continue into the triangle, leaving us cloudy and rainy for a few days. If we go to the surface map, we can see, here we go, is the high pressure system that's keeping our skies clear on Monday, and then back here is the low pressure and all of that moisture that's going to be coming into the area Tuesday and keeping us rainy for the following few days. If we head to the 4-day forecast, we can see on Tuesday our high is going to be 54 degrees with a low of 45 degrees. That's about 20 degrees below normal for this time of year. We are going to see rain showers. On Wednesday, 52 degrees for the high. Some parts of the viewing area may not even make it out of the 40s. So overnight low for 45 degrees. On Thursday, the chance of showers diminishes, but we could see some spotty showers in the area with a high of 55 and a low of 42. And then on Friday, the sun will start to return and peak out in the afternoon hours, and we'll see a high of 59 with a low of 40. So if we look at the pollen report for this time of year, the tree pollen is very high. We've got grass coming in the middle of April, and then weed pollen in the onset is in late June. So I know I've been sneezing and having watery eyes, so hopefully the rain this week will keep it down.
Well, I am not looking forward to that rain, but thanks so much for that report.
Thank you.
Erin, thank you. Sports anchor Ann Sexton joins us now, filling in for Wes Wilson. And hopefully the coming rainy days won't affect the spring sports too much.
Let's hope not. There might be a couple rain delays for softball coming up on Wednesday. But first, coming up in Carolina Week Sports, some people think that gambling is a bad thing. But how about playing no-limit poker to help raise over $6,000 to feed the hungry? Find out how students press their luck for a good cause.
See what a 10% weight loss can do for you. Awaken your creativity. Do your thing at the Art School at the Art Center in Carborough.
Welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. We just had to recognize the 1-week anniversary of the Tar Heels' 4th NCAA championship. I'm Ann Sexton with even more Tar Heel sports. Well, with the Masters this weekend and the first week of baseball having come and gone, it's official. Spring is here. And sticking with that theme, the 14th ranked women's tennis team headed outdoors Saturday against Maryland, looking to remain unbeaten at home.
In doubles action, Maryland used anything to keep the ball in play. And despite being a little banged up, the Lady Heels were too quick for the Terps and took the doubles point. The action wrapped up with handshakes all around. Nice match. Oh, you too. And in singles play, the Heels ran Maryland off the court, literally. Coach Brian Calbus looked on as Carolina swept the Terrapins 7-0. Senior Kendall Klein said she brought a little strategy to her match.
I was really attacking her backhand a lot because she was a little inconsistent on that side. So I was trying to pull her off to the forehand side and then kind of exploit the backhand.
At home this year, the Heels haven't needed a whole lot of strategy, that's for sure. They kept their hot play Sunday to beat Virginia 6-1 and remain undefeated at home. Well, the women may have had no problem handling UVA, but when the men's team tried to duplicate the task Sunday against the third-ranked Wahoos, they found it was a tough task to tackle. The Heels put themselves in a hole early, but the Cavaliers made errors of their own and couldn't capitalize. But Ryan Lucici would leave the door wide open after this volley ended on, well, a less than stellar shot. Yeah, I'd hang my head too. Brad Pomeroy did his best to ace the Cavs, but the other Heels must not have gotten the message. It must have been lost somewhere in the sun. Even good court position couldn't save the Heels. Yeah, we know that was just plain bad. Lucici didn't have to hear it from his coach to know that mental errors did the Heels in.
We had long rallies and things went pretty well at the beginning, but it's just had a little too many unforced errors today and just didn't go my way.
Well, with baseball gone this weekend and tennis matches and softball games being played off campus, many students were left wondering how to spend their weekend without Tar Heel sports. Reporter Lily West anteed up for yet another story and bets you can't figure out how one student group raked in $6,000 to fight hunger.
On Saturday, nearly 300 people turned out for UNC's first Hold 'em for Hunger poker tournament. Hunger Lunch, a campus-wide committee, hosted the event to raise money for its nutritional programs abroad. Hunger Lunch co-chair Kamal Mangrajani said the tournament helped bring attention to their work.
And the fact that it's all going to charity just makes it that much better because it means we can spread awareness to at least 200 or 300 more people who might not have heard about Hunger Lunch before.
Some came ready to win. Others lost within the first 5 minutes. Senior Sorba Gombar was the first player eliminated. He said he was dealt some bad luck.
I told my friends I just didn't want to be the first one out, and it turns out I was the first one out, and they all clapped and had to point me out for it, but that's okay.
At this event, the sponsors were the big spenders. More than 20 local shops chipped in to make the tournament possible. Empire Poker donated most of the prizes, including a grand prize trip to the next World Series of Poker satellite tournament. Several students share their thoughts on winning.
Yeah, we figured it out. He's just going to fold off, let me win if we get
I
there.
thought it was the other way around.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to fold off for you.
I ain't folding off.
I ain't going to let you win.
We're going to fight till the finish.
I'm going to beat him.
Yeah.
So, does Hunger Lunch plan to do this again next year? You bet. In Chapel Hill, I'm Lily West, Carolina Week.
Well, if you can't head outside to watch sports, I guess gambling inside for a good cause works as well. It certainly looked like fun. Sophomore Kayla Futch won the tournament, was one of only a handful of women who entered. Some other ladies who were looking to destroy the competition could be found at the softball diamond on Saturday. The Tar Heels took on Virginia Tech in a doubleheader. Trust me, the first game was no indication of what would come in the second. In the first game, Crystal Cox was on the mound, and as usual, she controlled the defense, striking out one batter after another. Unfortunately, a few successful hits combined with Carolina errors enabled the Hokies to earn 2 runs. The outfield handled numerous fly balls, but when it came to batting, Carolina was a little bit off. 3 meager hits resulted in only 1 Tar Heel run. Virginia Tech defeated Carolina 2-0. Fans washed out the bad taste from the first game loss with some ice cream as the team answered that loss with the precise play of Jennifer Jacobs, giving the Heels 2 runs. The Heels went up 7-1 in the first on this Virginia Tech error. But the win didn't stop freshman Casey Testa. She pounded her first career Grand Slam. Testa realized the significance of her big-time home run in front of the home crowd as Carolina wins 11-1.
I felt really good because it was my first Grand Slam of the season, and it was my first home run at this field. All my home runs have been away.
In the third game of the series, the Heels had victory on their minds and dirt on their hands, and the Hokies weren't going down without a fight. While the scoreboard stayed empty late into the game, the hits and strikeouts seesawed between the teams, with Cox striking out 8 and giving up 5 hits. But in the 6th inning, it was decisive offense by Carolina that finally put the Heels on the board. A sacrifice bunt by Saturday's star Casey Testa moved the shortstop Anna Evans to second, and a wild pitch moved her to third base. Then it was a single to right by catcher Whitney Gellin, who gave the Heels the only run of the game. Carolina takes the series 2-1. The Carolina baseball team has been stellar at home this season, but a 2-5 record away from Bosmer Stadium gave the Heels a reason to be concerned about its 3-game series at Maryland. Carolina sure had the Terps in its sights Friday, crushing the Terrapins 10-0. Andrew Miller struck out 10 in 7 innings, and the Heels started the weekend off well. On Saturday, the Tar Heels stumbled early, allowing Maryland to jump to an early lead. But the Boys and Blues jumped back on top for a 5-3 win, riding on a strong defense that picked up 4 double plays, tying a season record. Carolina finished out the series against Maryland on Sunday with a 3-2 win. Chad Flack's solo home run in the 6th inning sealed the deal as Carolina sweeps Maryland in College Park. Well, we have some good news from the basketball team. Sean May, 4th for a Wooden Award. Very impressive.
That is impressive, and I really hope that he doesn't leave to go to the pros next year, but we shall see. Anne, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Anne. Well, the Rocky Horror Picture Show may have been a bit before our time.
That's right, Nora, but fear not. Lab Theater is making sure it'll be lights, camera, and lingerie before the semester ends.
When you shop in Orange County, your money comes back to you.
Thank you for shopping Orange.
So shop Orange and see what a difference you can make.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show was a favorite among college students in the 70s. Reporter Harrison Carter says the wacky, risque show is making an on-stage return.
How many virgins do we have?
If those arriving at the Lab Theater's production of the Rocky Horror Show didn't know what they were getting into, they were quickly dubbed virgins by director Brent E. Smith.
I, in full drag, go around and put red lipstick V's on everyone's head.
Those who did know what was coming got into the spirit.
It's a day to be a little bit different. It's not every day you get to walk around in women's clothing.
The Rocky Horror Show has been labeled a cult classic and has been drawing crowds with its non-traditional style for years.
We're lucky with this show because the audience gets to help us tell the story.
Audience members enjoyed a theater experience outside the box.
You get to squirt, and you get to throw stuff on stage, and you get to yell stuff at everybody, and they're all upon you, and they're right in your face, and it's great.
Smith says the format makes for a unique show experience.
It's fun, and it's loud, and it's sexy, and it's really an event. It's not just a piece of theater.
An event audiences won't soon forget. From Chapel Hill, I'm Harrison Carter, Carolina Week.
Well, Nora, I have some exciting news. I was up in Maryland this past weekend with some of the other Carolina Week crew members, and we received an award from the Society of Professional Journalists for the best non-daily newscast in Region 2, which is excellent.
Well, it takes a lot of hard work, and we have a lot of great crew members that you might not see, but they're working hard for us, and we appreciate their work, too.
Thanks to everyone who's worked on Carolina Week. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Have a great night. Thanks for joining us.